right. Are we live? All right, let's check. Excellent connection. I'm always saying that. But that's what it says on the live stream studio within YouTube. All right, so we're gonna give it a few minutes, actually a few seconds. Let's give it 30 seconds and we will start. We're gonna go straight into it. I just want to make sure everything is good to go before we start. No shout out video on this episode because last episode not a lot of chatting was happening, so it's okay. I do these live streams pretty early, so I don't really think a lot of people would tune in. All right. So hopefully you guys are able to hear me, see me. If you do, send a quick chat, say hello, let me know where you guys are from, and let's start. So welcome back to the server room, episode 76. You saw the title, Configuring VLAN Trunks on a 3-switch configuration kind of setup. Now, we're going to go straight right into it. Let's get into this. We left off last time here, basically trying to locate devices using the MAC address with a 3-switch network set up within Cisco Packet Tracer. Now, we're actually going to take this workspace and we're going to upgrade it. I already did that behind the scenes. The only thing that I did not do was configure the VLAN, which we will do together. So I remove the DHCP server. I assign static IP addresses to all of the computer nodes. It's 4 times 3, 12. So 12 PCs. I gave them static IPs. And the configuration on all 3 switch are the same. So I'm actually going to close this up and I'm going to say yes here. It's going to open up. So this is the one that I make modifications on behind the scenes. I gave myself a nice little legend. We are going to create 3 additional VLANs. If I go into one of the switches, let's go into the CLI prompt and where are you? There we go. Let's open this guy up. And let's log in. It is username is admin, password is Cisco. I'm going to get into the enable mode and the password is Cisco. Let's do a show run config. And all the ports are configured with a VLAN 10. We already created the VLAN 10. This is the same setup for switch 1, switch 2, switch 3. So we're not going to make any configurations. We're not going to build a new switch because the switch is already built out. Only thing that we need to do is configure the VLANs, the new VLANs into the switch, and also configure the gigabit ports, all right, that are connected or connected with a crossover cable between each switch. Okay, so on VLAN 10, everything in black, we're going to keep it as is. VLAN 20, this is everything in pink. These 3 machines right here are going to be on VLAN 20. They're still on VLAN 10 with this IP address. So we're going to configure these IP address to these. VLAN 30, these are the current IPs. We're going to switch it to this. VLAN 40, these are the IPs, and we're going to switch it to that. Let me zoom in a bit because probably it's too small. So this is our legend. This is our game plan. This is what we are going to do. So the first thing that I am actually going to do is configure each PC with the correct IP address. All right. Once I do that, we will get into the switches and then configure them with the new VLANs and start configuring the trunking between each switch for us to be able to ping that IP address with the new VLAN. Okay, so let me zoom out real quick. Bingo. So let's start with VLAN 20. We have 13. Let's get into fast Ethernet. We're going to switch this guy to 1020 dot 0.10. All right. So that's the IP address for that. And I'm actually going to copy that. And we're going to switch this to that. Awesome. The next one, this one right here, 16, is going to be configured with 11. So let's make a copy, boom, and switch the label to 11. That's it. We're going to scroll down. We're going to do the last one. Last one is going to be 12. So we're going to go into the config tab fast, and we're going to switch it to 12. We're going to make a copy of that because I want to change and update the label. Cool. Awesome. So VLAN 20 PCs are configured. I already changed the static IP address to a VLAN 20 IP address. Now we're going to do the VLAN 30. VLAN 30 are these three right here that are highlighted in purple. So the 12 is actually going to be a 172. So let's get into that. Config. Let's get into fast Ethernet. And within fast Ethernet, let's do a 172.16.0.10. We're going to do a Control A, Control C to copy that. Let's get out of there. And we are going to switch the label to that. We're going to do the same thing to 17. I'm just following kind of a blueprint that I did behind the scenes to match everything. Awesome. So this one right here is going to be 11. Let's do Control C because we need to change the label. Now, if you guys want a copy of all these packet tracer files so you can start playing around within your environment, let me know because I will post them up within the GitHub and add the link on the description, or just shoot it on the comment and then ping it so you guys could get a copy of it. Let's do the last one. The last one is this one. This is going to be 12. So let's go into config, fast Ethernet, and then switch this to 12. Control A to select everything, Control C to copy it, and let's change the label to that. Awesome. So we took care of VLAN 20, VLAN 30. We changed all the static IP addresses for all the machines to the correct IP address. The last one is VLAN 40, and these IP addresses are going to be a 192. So 10. Let's do config. Let's go inside fast. And this one's going to be a 192, 168, 0, and 10. I'm going to copy that so we could change the label. Now, it'd be so awesome if this is how networking is in real life. Now, we're using Cisco Packet Tracer. In reality, you're not going to be able... You are able to label your switches this way, but it would be more into the switch level. Can't have like a nice little diagram to view all your stuff like that. I mean, you could probably, if you're using like a utility like SolarWinds Orion, I know they have like graphs and stuff that you're able to create and have like different icons for all your switches. You could probably use that type of utility, but that's another thing that you have to pay and configure and manage. So, all right. So we just switched the first one. Let's go into the second PC. Again, we're just configuring all the IPs. There we go. And let's switch the label. And let's do the last one, which would be 12. Oops, let's get into that. Config, fast. So I'm working pretty fast because a lot of this stuff is pretty self-explanatory. I'm just changing static IP addresses for all the VLAN 10 PCs, and they're pointing to the new, the new IP address. So we have all the PCs with the correct IP address. So we need to configure the switches. Okay. So let's go into switch one. Let's open this guy up real quick. Awesome. And I was already in here. And okay. So, okay, awesome. So like I said, I already did a show config on switch one. They're all the same. They're all on VLAN 10. I only have one VLAN on each switch, right? VLAN 10. And for switch one, let's configure it. So let's get into config T. Config T is terminal, short version of it. You could type in the entire word config and then write terminal, but that's up to you. We are going to create our first VLAN. So basically VLAN 20. VLAN is the command, and then whatever number you want to provide for your VLAN. So we're going to do VLAN 20. We're actually going to do another one, VLAN 30 and VLAN 40. All right. So we have all the VLANs. Awesome. All right. I'm looking at my notes because that's the way it is. Now, if I'm going to scroll up a little bit because I want to show you guys that gigabit 1, right? Gigabit 1, if we go over here, gigabit 1 is, I'm actually hooked up to switch 1, gigabit 1 to gigabit 1. So I'm actually going to default gigabit 1. I'm going to erase all the configurations on this port because we need to configure it. Right now, this is the configuration on gigabit 01. 01 is actually connected with a crossover cable to switch 2. We need to erase this and then reconfigure it. Now, to do that, we need to do the following. So let's exit out of here. And within the config mode, we need to do the following. We need to type in default, right? Interface. I'm gonna hit the tab to auto-complete it, and we're gonna do G0/1, hit enter. Boom. Automatically it says interface gigabit set to default configuration. It has been wiped clean. I think if you exit out of here, do a show run config. Let's go all the way to the bottom and let's scroll up. Okay, boom. Interface 01 is completely wiped. That is what we want. So let's get back into config T. Awesome. So let's configure gigabit 01. So let's get into it in interface G01. That gets me into it. We are going to do a switch port mode of trunk. Hit enter. Awesome. It turns it down and then it turns it up. I'm going to hit enter to bring back the command prompt. We are going to do a switch port of non-negotiate. Awesome. And we're going to do a switch port of trunk. Oops. Yeah. Let's do that one more time. Switch port trunk allowed VLAN. So you're going to basically call out all the VLANs. Now, we default G0 and that basically erased VLAN 10 from that port. So we need to actually add it back into it. So on this command here, switch port trunk allow VLAN, we got to do 10 again because we removed it. We want 20, we want 30, and we want 40. 20, 30, and 40 are the ones that we created at the very beginning. We did a VLAN 20, VLAN 30, VLAN 40, and VLAN 20, VLAN 30, VLAN 40, going too fast. We did that in the beginning, so that created those VLANs, but now we need to allow it. So once you enter this command, you hit enter, you're good to go. Awesome. Now, we have a bunch of, okay, awesome. It's given us native VLAN mismatch discovered on gigabit 01. That is because switch 2 gigabit 01 is not configured as of yet. So that's the reason why we're getting that. So while we are inside switch 1, we are going to configure those ports. We're going to configure these guys. Okay. So we're going to actually configure this port, this guy, and this guy. So I got to see what's what. I think, let me see. This one is 4. Okay. This is gigabit 4. All right, that's 4. This is 3. And this one is... Which one is this one? Come on. I hate when this does that. It goes too fast. Okay, 1. All right, cool. So I know what ports I need to configure. So let's exit out of here. We're going to do interface, and we're going to do fast Ethernet 04. Let's configure 04 first. 04 is actually, that PC is on the VLAN 30. So we are going to do a switch port of access VLAN 30. Oh, wait a minute. Spelled it wrong. Oopsie. And VLAN 30. Awesome. Cool. Now, we did fast Ethernet 4, which is on VLAN 30. We need to also configure fast Ethernet 03 because that PC is actually on VLAN 20. So we are going to do interface again. You could do it within here, interface, int, short for interface. If you're going to do F03, hit enter, and we're going to do a switch. Come on. Switch port access VLAN, and this one is supposed to be on 20. Awesome. We're going to do the last interface, which would be fast01, and that one is going to go into VLAN 40. Awesome. Cool. Let's exit out of here, exit again, and copy, run, start, hit enter. Awesome. We're going to also do a show run config. And when we go into, oops, let's do that again, show run config, you're going to see that our 01 is on VLAN 40, 02, which is this guy right here. This guy, let me see if I can zoom in. Okay, so this guy right here is actually on port 02. Kind of goes pretty fast. So I'm going to change that real quick for you guys. Let's go to preferences. Always show the label. Let's exit out of here. Awesome. Cool. Okay. So 02 is on VLAN 10. 04 is actually on, this is 04. 04 is on VLAN 30. 03 is on VLAN 20, and then the orange one, which is 01, is on 40. So that's how we configured it on the switch level, right? Yep. 1 is 40, 2 stays the same on 10. Switch 3 is on VLAN 20, and VLAN 04 is on 30. Cool. And we configured gigabit 0 to allow VLAN 10, 20, 30, and 40. I'm still getting this right here, and the reason why is because switch 2 hasn't been configured. So let's go configure switch 2 because it is going crazy. So on switch 2, we're going to do the same thing. Let's get into switch 2. Let's open this up. Let's get into the command. Getting a lot of mismatch. So we're going to log in. It is admin, password is Cisco. Let's get into the enable mode, and the password is Cisco here. Again, I'm going to do a show run config, and everything is configured with the VLAN 10. And we actually need to configure this gigabit 01. So while we do that, we are going to get into config T, right? Configuration mode, and switch 2 does not have the VLAN, so we need to create all those VLANs that we created on switch 1. It has to match. So let's do a VLAN 20. We're going to do a VLAN 30. We're going to do a VLAN 40. So all of our VLANs are configured. So let's exit out of here. Enter. Now we need to configure gigabit 01 to match to allow all those trunk VLANs. The same way that we configure switch 1, we got to do it on switch 2. So from here, we're going to do int, which is interface. Let's get into the gigabit 01. Awesome. And if you want, you are able to actually, yeah, 01 is not configured, so you don't really need the default. You could just start typing it. So I'm going to do switch port mode trunk. Awesome. That's weird. Huh. Weird. I wonder if I got dropped. Did I get dropped? Let me see something real quick, guys. Windows 11 gave me a notification that I got dropped, but OBS didn't complain. That's weird that it would do that. All right, let's go back. Okay, so we're switch to configuring G01. We need to do all those VLANs. So let's do all those VLANs on switch 2. So it'll be 10, 20, 30, and 40, and then hit enter. Awesome. Now we need to also configure G02 on switch 2. Okay, so let's hit enter and let's exit out of here. And I'm trying to remember. Let's do a default interface G02. We're going to clear that up. Awesome. We're going to go into the gigabit 02. Awesome. Let's do a switch port non-negotiate. Yeah. Actually, don't do a non-negotiate as of yet. We need to do is give me 1 second. Looking at my notes because sometimes I can't remember all this stuff. We need to do actually a switch port mode trunk. Awesome. And we need to do a switch port non-negotiate. And then from here, we need to do a switch port trunk allowed Vlan 10, 20, 30, and then 40. Awesome. All right. Cool. Now we need to configure all those ports. So what ports do I need to configure? So we are going to, on switch 2, we need to configure 03, right? 03 needs to be on VLAN 30. 04 needs to be on VLAN 20, and then 02 needs to be on VLAN 40. So let's do that. Let's exit out of here. Awesome. Let's go GF03. Awesome. And let's do a switch port access VLAN 30. Awesome. We're going to do an IN F04. Oops. IN. Let's exit out of here. IN F04. We're going to do a switch port access VLAN 20. IN F02. And this is going to be a switch port access VLAN 40. Whoa, it's getting kind of dark now. Let me turn this light on. Awesome. All right. So let's exit out of here. Exit out of here. Let's do a copy run start. Awesome. Let's do a run show config. And let's look at that configuration. Awesome. 01 is still on 10. 02 is on 40. 03 is on 30. 04 is on 20. And if we look at our, yep, this right here, got a mismatch, VLAN mismatch discover on 02 with switch 3 because we haven't configured switch 3, but we're going to be configuring switch 3 pretty soon. 01 is configured. 02 is configured. Awesome. All right. So everything is configured on switch 2. Let's get into switch 3. So on switch 3, switch 3, we have 03. 03 is on VLAN 30. That's what we need to configure. We need to configure port 3. Port 4 needs to be on port 4 needs to be on port 4 needs to be on VLAN 20, and port 2 needs to be in VLAN 40. Okay, so 3, 4, and 2. 2, 3, and 4, those are the ones I need to configure with the correct VLAN. So let's get into here. Okay, so let's hit enter. Let's log in. Password is Cisco. Let's get into enable mode. Cisco is the password. I'm going to do a show run configuration so I can show you guys Everything is on VLAN 10. Nothing is configured. We need to configure uh, one of our gigabits. Actually, we need to configure gigabit 02 because gigabit 02 is the one that's connected to switch 2 as a with the crossover cable. So we definitely need to configure that. So see, gigabit 02. It's actually configured on G01. It's not on 2. I should have put it on 2, right? This 1 and 1, 2 and 2, but it's actually set up on 02. Okay, so G01 is the one that we need to configure on that. All right, so let's get into the switch. All right, and it's complaining about the mismatched ports, which is okay. All right, so we need to get into config T. And like we did on 1 and 2, we need to create our VLAN. So VLAN 20, VLAN 30, and then VLAN 40. Boom, we're done. Awesome. Let's get into gigabit 01. So I'm going to exit out of here. I'm going to do interface G01. Oops. G01. There it goes. We're going to do a switch port mode of, if I spell it right, trunk. I went up and down. Let's go switch trunk. Allowed VLAN, call all. We're going to call out all of our VLANs. 10, 20, and 30, and 40. Hit enter. Beautiful. We're going to do a switch port of non-negotiate. Hit enter. Awesome. Let's exit out of here. G01 is already configured. G01, G02. They should be able to talk to each other properly throughout the network, allowing all those VLANs 10, 20, 30, and 40. Now we need to configure on the switch 3 those ports with those PCs that we switch the IP address onto. So we are going to do INTF 03, right? Boom. And we're going to do a switch access VLAN, and 03 I think needs to be on 30, right? 03, it's purple, VLAN 30. Okay, that's beautiful. That's what we want. Let's hit enter. Awesome. From here, we are able to do another interface, F0, and the next one is number 4, if I could remember. Yeah, 4. And 4, switch port access VLAN. I think 4 needed to be on 20, but we are going to double check that real quick. Switch 4, or port 4, it's purple, needs to be on 20. Awesome. Let's hit enter. Beautiful. Let's do the last switch. I think the last switch is F0 numero 2. Hit enter. We're going to do a switch port access VLAN, and I think we needed to put that into 40. So number port 2, it's orange, 40. Excellent. Let's hit enter. Awesome. Let's exit out of here. Let's do a copy run start. Oops. Copy run start. Enter. Let's do a show run config. Let's look at our switch. Okay, port 01 is on 10, port 02 is on 40, 3 is on 30, 20. All right, we're looking good. Let's go all the way down. Gigabit Ethernet 01 is configured to that. 02 is not being used, so we left it as is, which is okay, and we're good. Okay, so everything is configured. It looks like all the lights are properly configured, and they're lighting green, which is great. So the real test between all this would be, let's go into this PC here. Let's go into the desktop. Let's go into command prompt, and let's ping some IPs. So let's let me open this up a bit. Not too big because I need to see the IPs because I am blind as a bat. So let's look these right here. Let's let's see if we could ping 18. So 18, we should be able to, ping 18. Awesome. That's good. All right. Are we able to ping 14? Same VLAN. Okay, that's good. All right. So that's good. So all the this machine, which is on VLAN 10, is able to ping all the other machines that are in the same VLAN. That's great. How about this guy right here? Let's go into the desktop for this guy. And this is VLAN 30. And let's see if we are able to ping one of the machines on that VLAN. So let's go 0, 11. That's one of them. 11 is actually located over here on switch 2. So let's hit enter. There we go. Look at that. That's gorgeous. That's beautiful. We're able to ping that. Let's go up and let's see if we are able to ping .12, which .12 is set up on switch 3. All right, so VLAN 30 is working the way it's supposed to work. Let's see VLAN 20. Again, click on one of the machines. Let's go to command prompt. Let's see if we do a ping 10, 20, 0, 11. 11 is actually located in switch 2. We're going to hit enter here, and it is pinging. That is good. That is a really, really, really good sign. Let's also try to ping .12 on the VLAN 20. And .12 is actually located on switch 3, and I'm able to ping it. Awesome. Let's do one more test. This guy right here is in VLAN 40. Let's go to desktop. Let's open up a command prompt. Let's expand it a little bit. Let's go ping 192.168.0.11 and hit enter. .11 is located in switch 2. We're able to hit it. And the last one is 12, which is located in switch 3, and we're able to hit it. Now, I don't know if I'm going to be doing this on the next video. I feel like I'm going to be doing this on the next video, but I'm able to ping all the IP. I'm able to ping all the PCs on each individual VLAN. So if a PC is on VLAN 20, that machine is able to ping the other machines on that VLAN, okay? So I feel like, I don't know if it's configured as of yet, but I don't think I'm be able to ping the other machines, probably. But because we did do the switch port access allow those VLANs, I should be able to do a ping. Let's pick a machine. Let's see if we're able to ping a PC on VLAN 40. Now VLAN 40 would be 192.168. Let's try 0.10. Let's try 10. Now 192 is actually located right here. I don't think I'll be able to ping it. Let's hit enter. I won't be able to ping it. And the reason why I don't think I'll be able to ping it is because, would I be able to ping it? No, it's not going to be able to ping it. Yeah, it's not going to be able to ping it. And the only reason I'm not able to ping it is because, and I think I'm going to be doing this on the next video, on the next episode for you guys. And the reason why this machine is not able to ping this machine is because, you guessed it, they're in a different VLAN. This PC right here, this PC, which is located on port 02, right, is actually configured. If we do a show run config, right, let me do this right here. Boop. There we go. Yeah, so this PC right here, which is connected to port 02, only has access to VLAN 10, right? This guy, which is hooked up to 01, is 40. You know, the only way to get around that is if port 02 has access to 10 and 40 or 20 and 30 to ping the rest of the network. And we're not going to do that as of yet. But today is all about just configuring VLAN trunks on 3 switches. And that's what we did. You know, we were able to get into all 3 switches. Boom, 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 boom. We're able to ping everything. Everything is talking to each other. All these machines right here, everything that's on VLAN 10 is able to ping each other. Everything that's on VLAN 20 is able to ping each other, and et cetera, et cetera. So this was a successful exercise. I think on the next video, we're going to configure the switches to allow PCs that are in VLAN 10 to ping PCs within 20, 30, and 40. All right. But let's save our file. Make sure you save it. And that's it for today's episode. So hopefully you guys enjoy. If you guys do want to get a copy of the packet tracer files, these workspaces or working spaces or whatever you want to call it, let me know. I can post them up on the GitHub site. So you guys grab a copy, start playing around, and can follow along. So hopefully you guys enjoy, and I catch you guys on the next episode. Peace out. All right, so how you end this? Because I always forget. All right, so okay.